what has happened to me, I can only explain by the Almighty God. There's only one explanation to it, because it's an unlikely story. I mean, there's so many, chapters of that story, and I thank God.
This sums up the story behind his long journey to become Ghana's vice president at age 54. As a young man, Mahamudu Bawumia exhibited great leadership skills. But his mother, Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, now 77, never dreamt her son could rise to this level.
No, he was good, but not to that extent. He's a good fellow, but not to that extent. I wasn't expecting that one day he will be a president or a vice president. No.
For his 72-year-old primary school teacher, Jacob Duty, it was clear from the onset Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was heading somewhere.
If you are a teacher in this school and you didn't prepare, you didn't go through your notes, then come and tell the headmaster that you are not well and go home. Otherwise, the children will disgrace you.
The banker is now a politician.
When I married him, he wasn't a politician. So I say I married a banker and ended up with a politician. No, I never dreamt of... No, of course it wasn't in the cards. He was at the central bank. He was an economist, and that's where, it remains.
Dr. Bawumia's father, Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, was a teacher, lawyer, and astute politician. He was a founding member of the Northern People's Party, which later merged with other opposition parties into the United Party, the forebearer of the current New Patriotic Party. But for young Bawumia, crunching numbers was his passion. Politics was never one of his aspirations.
Quite frankly, I never intended going into politics. I remember having a discussion with my dad one day about politics, and I said to him, well, I wasn't interested in politics. I was interested in economics and economic development, and that's where I was going to focus in terms of my contribution to Ghana in terms of the economy. And then I remember him making a remark that, well, if you people say you won't go into politics, then don't complain when somebody else is doing something wrong.
Having had enough of the troubles with politics, Dr. Bawumia's mother, Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, never wished any of her children would follow the footsteps of her husband. So her son's entry into politics really came as a surprise to his family, as his eldest sister, Salamatu Bawumia, explains.
He came once and told me, and I begged him. I told him that he should refrain from entering politics, and he asked me why. I said, oh, doctor, you know the problems we had when our father was a politician, and I feel he made me enumerate everything, and he said, okay, I'll go and think about it, and he left. Little did I know that he was really determined. We
have very little control except to work hard and hope that your desires, your goals will be met. I have been generally a goal-oriented person, and I've from childhood been made to believe that if you work hard, you can achieve your goals. So I did the best that I could at any point in time.
Excellence has been his mantra even from childhood, with a desire to win and innate character.
Growing up, he liked arguing with his elder brothers. I mean, always debating with them, and he will never stop. So at the end of the day, they will go to the old man and he will listen to them and he will tell them that, oh, Mahmoud is right. Then they will feel so hurt because they felt that, oh, he was being pampered or he liked him.
And Dr. Bawumia recalls vividly some of these instances.
Yes, I used to debate a lot of my siblings, and so sometimes my dad will have to come in to determine who was right or wrong, a few times you'd say, yes, he's right.
Dr. Bawumia's former headmaster at the Tamale Secondary School, Alhaji Rahim Gadamoshi, says all these shaped the economist's line of thought and argument in the last electioneering campaign.
You could notice that most of the time he really goes strictly for facts, and he uses figures and things to establish whatever he has. And it's as a result of the facts that we have quite a lot of the slogans and mantras which were used for the MPP campaign. And everybody took to it, and because what he presented was irrevocable. And all those people who rather went to go to make a mess themselves by trying to say that, to disprove what you're saying, only made a mess themselves and rather increase the popularity for him.
This long journey to the top started in the northern regional capital of Tamale.
I grew up in Tamale. I was born in Tamale. I went to Sakasaka Primary. At the time when thinking the furthest I can think back, I think maybe my days at Moshizongo, where I lived with my auntie, with her children, and we're all in a chamber and hall, basically, all squeezed in, all the kids in this chamber and hall, and we were going to school from Moshizongo to Sakasaka, which was not very far. You walk to school, and I was very of course interested in school and very active. I like to ask a lot of questions in class.
I have come to the famous Sakasaka Primary School, where Ghana's new vice president had his basic school education over 40 years ago. This school is in the bad shape and the structure looks very weak. It is clear it's not seen any major renovation since it was built. Today, I am meeting a man who helped shape the future of Dr. Bawumia, his primary school teacher, 72-year-old Jacob Duty. He has traveled approximately 300 kilometers from Nangpanduri to meet our team.
Today, that's why I came, I was surprised. What place has changed?
Oh. So when you were here, the place wasn't like this. When you were
the two buildings. That long block there.
Yes.
Lower primary. That's then upper primary.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of the class was A, B, A, B, A, B.
It's been over 40 years since Jacob left the school, but he remembers the exact classroom where Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia sat and studied.
Yeah, yes. Primary 6A or common entrance class. This was where Bawumia.
Oh, and it's locked.
Yeah, it's locked.
Every time we are holidays.
Yes.
So Dr. Bawumia sat in this class?
Yes, he sat in this class.
Wow. And you taught him?
I taught him. They were just breaks. Every time a child misbehaves and I want to discipline him, I will give him 2 whips and ask him to take off. 2 jams for life. So I properly know my
So did you get the chance to once cane Dr. Bawumia?
Oh, what? Once we were in my classroom, what to apply the cane wherever it was necessary, whenever it was necessary. But, it was how we did it. Because we were big men's children. That was a champion's era.
The retired educationist also doubled as the home teacher for Dr. Bawumia and the younger brother of former President John Mahama.
3 days in a week. Bawumia's bungalow. On Mondays, 4:30 to 5:30. 4:30 to 5:30, or sometimes 4 when I go there early. 4 to 5:30. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. And before I finish supper ready for me, I'll take it, go home. The following day is Tuesday. It's Mr. E.A. Mama's house, a bungalow. 3 days in a week, I remember, 5 cities. There was a champion's house of 5 cities. It was big money. So my salary was about 33-49 CDs. So when I collect 5 CDs from one end, that is Bawumia's end, 5 cities for Bahamas and 10 cities, good. 5 cities, my room rent, Saka there, just by the Presbyterian Church. I was staying there. The remaining 5 cities, I'll add it to my salary, my meager salary. I'll make it do.
Jacob shows me a picture of Dr. Bawumia and his mates during a speech and prize giving day. In this photograph, primary school pupil Mahamudu Bawumia wears a black gown as though he were a lawyer. His lawyer's wig, a folded table lace. The nature of the work of Dr. Bawumia's father meant the family roamed the country. But Dr. Bawumia returned to Tamale for his secondary school education. He attended the Tamale Secondary School. The school is exceptionally quiet today, all because the students are on vacation. Only a few workers and teachers are seen to perform administrative duties. I meet the headmaster of the school, Wilberforce Shaibu Adams, flanked by his deputies. He's happy this school has produced personalities like former President Hilal Liman, late Vice President Alhaji Mahamudu, the current governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Abdul Nashiru Ishahaku, and Vice President Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia.
We are two big schools in Tamale, Damasco and Ghana School, and we compete very fervently. So at any given moment, one of us wants to show the colors, even though it is sad. But I think that in the recent elections, or in the last elections, Ghana School dominated. Both the outgoing president and the first lady were Ghanaians. We used to tease each other, in fact, jokingly, but unfortunately they are exiting. And as they are exiting, we are also producing one. So Tamale, Damasco, the North, and Ghana in general is always producing one person from Damasco or two others.
Dr. Bawumia recently donated an ambulance and cash of 50,000 cedis towards the rehabilitation of the school's dining hall.
What used to be common was that if we were good at sports, we couldn't have been good academically. You see,
you couldn't be good at both.
Yeah, we couldn't be good at both. So it was a surprise that Dr. Bawumia was good at sports.
Yes.
And he was also academically excellent.
These are schoolmates of Dr. Bawumia who have met talking about the rise of their own to this enviable position.
You know, sometimes whatever we wanted to do.
Alhaji Mohammed Awal was one of Dr. Bawumia's closest friends when they were in the Tamale Secondary School.
During holidays, we came together in his house to study together during the holidays. So we prepared for the O-levels. And when we came out, again, he became the all-time best student for the whole school. And I think he was the best student for the whole of Northern Upper region. Yes. And at that time, when we were planning for our O-levels, we were all earmarking becoming best student for the distance. So we thought he couldn't make it, with the mathematics. So I will use mathematics to beat him so that we could get better grades than him. And finally, when we wrote the exams, surprisingly, we all did very well in our various subjects. But he came out getting grade 1 in mathematics. And to some extent, we the science students were not happy with him. In fact, he apologized to us, yes, for making it, and told us that, since we were friends, we should not take it, we should take it easy and, forget about this. It was a shocker to us. This is the house that Dr. Bawumia lived when he was in Damasco. He was here as a prefect.
Alhaji Awal has brought me to the dormitory where Dr. Bawumia lived while at the Tamale Secondary School. The building has been recently renovated, as Alhaji Awal tells me.
Because Dr. Bawumia was so good in class as an economist, we call his room Well Bank. It is well known. I think if our past classmates here, they will remember the name Well Bank. So it was written boldly on the wall of his room that this is Well Bank. The roofing of these buildings was made of thatch. It was not zinc. So I think Dr. Bawumia will be surprised to see that this was the house in which he was a prefect.
From friends to teachers, the testimony about Ghana's vice president is that he's a smart man. Dr. Bawumia's headmaster then, Alhaji Rahim Gbedamoshi.
He took everything so easily, and he was good. In addition to that, he was very active in co-curricular activities, as games, sports, club activities. And again, he was in the debating club. He was very good. He was very outstanding. He also represented the school again in that activity, and was always very forceful.
Well, the fact that he was always excelling in class, that was the thing about him. He was always popular because of his excellence in class. He was always coming first, so you had to be nice to him, because you would need to go to him for explanations on issues. So as a child, he was always very likable because he was very good in class.
With the table tennis too, he was very good at it. There was this man called, I think Hatum or something like that. He was the all-time table tennis coach, and he was well known. They came to Damascus, and they had a trial with our students, and Bawumia with 2 other students, had a shot with them. And because it was national distance, it came out that they all beat their opponents, but Bawumia alone was able to, get a win for Damascus. It was a very big surprise, to be honest with you. It was a very, very big surprise. And I can remember at that time, Gbedamoshi, our headmaster, told us that that was history and that it was telling something very strange about the future.
I remember going to the carpenter to ask him to get a bat for me. So I showed him what it looked like, and he measured it and cut it out of wood, And so we were doing this kunka thing across my mom's dining table whenever they were not in the living room. So we used to have our table tennis games on that. So, I learned the game the hard way. And so when later on I got a proper bat and a proper table and so on, I sort of played better. But it's a game that allows you to exercise and test your reflexes and your skill, your control. So I like it about table tennis.
And there are 2 people in Dr. Bawumia's life he will forever be grateful to: his mother, Hajia Mahamudu Bawumia, and his late father. Hajia Mahamudu Bawumia lives in the small town of Walwale, the capital of the West Mampusi district of the Northern region. Dr. Bawumia once lived here with his parents. It's about an hour's drive from Tamale. I am here to meet Hajia Mahamudu Bawumia.
How are you? I'm fine. Hope you are fine.
Welcome
too.
to the house.
Thank you.
Hajia Mahamudu appears to be the happiest and proudest mom on earth today.
I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm very, very, very happy. I'm excited.
Her son exhibited signs he had a dream to accomplish. She says,
He's an intelligent man now. But he was intelligent. He was intelligent, yes. In school he was intelligent. He was doing well. And we were hoping that one day he'll get somewhere.
His brilliance earned him a chance to travel to England in 1984. In the UK, young Bawumia obtained a Chartered Institute of Bankers Diploma, ACIB, with distinction. Mahamudu Bawumia then continued his undergraduate years at the University of Buckingham and graduated with a first-class honours in economics in 1988. In 1995, he graduated from Simon Fraser University in Canada with his doctorate degree.
When we was graduating in Canada, he sent me a ticket, both father and mother, but his father didn't go. I had to go there. I was very happy about it. His doctorate degree.
Dr. Bawumia married Samira, a lifestyle TV presenter and daughter of the former national chairman of the People's National Convention, Alhaji Ahmed Ramadan.
When you meet the one you know, when you meet the person you're supposed to marry, you know, and he was the man for me.
What attracted you to him?
Oh, so many things. He's intelligent, he's kind, he's honest, so many things about him.
Well, he wasn't a politician at that time. He was a banker when he came to look for my daughter's hand. And he was quite a composed person, you know, very gentle looking. And I didn't have any cause to refuse to give him my daughter. And in time, you know, things have changed for the better.
In the year 2000, Dr. Bawumia left the United States of America and joined the Bank of Ghana as a senior economist. He rose through the ranks and in a matter of 6 years became a deputy governor at Ghana's Central Bank. One of the people Dr. Bawumia worked closely with at the Central Bank was Emmanuel Asiedu Mante, also a former deputy governor.
Of course, he applied, was interviewed, and he joined the Bank of Ghana and was posted to the research department because he had majored in economics, you know. And of course, he also has a banking diploma, a professional banking diploma. So he had both banking and he had economics, you know. So he fitted in very well at the research department. So my contact with him was when I became deputy governor. You know, the research department prepares reports on economy, and then they feed the governors with the reports. And you ask him to do something, and then the next moment he delivers, you know. He has his own typewriter, computer, you know. So he doesn't even rely on a typist to type for him. He does his own work. You give him work, and within moments he delivers. And you'll be happy working with him.
Then, from nowhere, his name popped up in 2008 as a possible running mate to then presidential candidate of the NPP, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. The party's former youth organizer, Anthony Cabo, says he was one of those who hinted Nana Akufo-Addo about The Economist.
At one of our meetings, the young people decided that, look, of all these people making and lobbying for these jobs, there's one guy who we haven't spoken about, a young Northerner Muslim who fits the criteria but doesn't have or is not been very much associated with the NPP in public. But I knew that his heart and his soul was in the right place. You know, so I had the opportunity to visit him in the bank, and I mentioned to him about the fact that his name had come up in some discussion. We pushed for him, and we went to him, met him at the bank. I mean, myself, I particularly mentioned Sam Ellis, who were delegated to go and meet him at the bank. We visited him at the bank, and we asked for his CV, and we engaged him.
So Nana Akufo-Addo placed the call to Dr. Bawumia for a meeting.
So when I got the call from Nana Akufo-Addo for a meeting in August of 2008, at that time I was deputy governor at the Bank of Ghana. And we had not really met to talk. He had heard about me, I'd seen him, probably shook his hand somewhere, but we had never really met to talk, to know each other, you know. So when he asked for the meeting, I was a bit curious because I knew at that time he was running to be president in the election forthcoming. And I was curious as to what he would have wanted me for. So I guessed that it was for economic statistics and data and that sort of thing. He wanted to know what was going on. So I took some of my economic data with me to this meeting. I guess it was on the figures on the economy and so on. So we went to this, I went to this meeting and we discussed the economy. He wanted to know how it was going on and all of that. And then in the middle, you know, somewhere he said, well, you know, I want you, do you know why I want to talk to you today? I said, no. He said, well, I want you to be my running mate. You know, I said, you must be joking. you know, I'm not a politician. I really have no interest in politics.
And he had just a day or two to take that tough decision. He had to consult widely within that short period.
I went and I talked to my boss at that time, Paul Acquire, and we discussed it that night. And I think his view was that as vice president, you will get to manage the economy, and the economy was what collectively we were managing at the Bank of Ghana with the Ministry of Finance and so on. So he thought, you know, it was just going to be an extension of my work at the bank, and so I should, at that time, when I look back, it's funny, he said, just consider it as technical assistance, you know, but because it was just 3 months to the election and so on. But I really thought hard about it. I thought very hard, and I thought, you know, that, you know, leaving the bank and entering the world of politics, it was a call to duty.
Dr. Bawumia's other boss, Emmanuel Mante Asiedu, who was also a deputy governor then, wasn't sure his subordinate was taking the right step.
It was a surprise to me and to most people because he was doing so well. Quite frankly, I thought he had a bright future at the Bank of Ghana and that he could have been made a governor someday. But, you know, things happen in life, you know, so he probably was convinced that there's a better path for him in the area of politics. And I'm sure his knowledge and experience will be helpful as a vice president to this nation, Ghana. I think we're fortunate to have him there as the vice president.
A man in quandary, Dr. Bawumia needed to seek the opinion of his family as well.
We were all in shock. I mean, it was very left field. It wasn't something we had planned for. It wasn't something that we had expected. It just happened. So we gave it a thought, but for me, what did it for me was that he said it was an opportunity to serve his people.
I was a bit surprised because our mother never wanted him to go into, any of the children to go into politics.
Why?
Oh, because of the experiences she's had in the past. So she was always praying that none of her children should go into politics at all.
I didn't agree at first. I said no. Politics is not your work. You've got to learn this economy and go ahead and do that. But he too first, he didn't want to take it. But people from friends and relatives, I think they talked to him before he agreed to take to politics.
I don't know if they were fully convinced, or I don't know if they are still fully convinced. But I think that you know, the issues were laid out as to the request that had come and you know, the difficulty in going into politics, and you know, because you know, people will insult you for no reason, you know, and all of those things about politics, you know. But you know, I think the sense that you could do something for the country, I think that argument was very persuasive. For me, it was persuasive to me that it would bring honor to what we're doing, and it's really a privilege when you are called to serve.
After the wide consultation, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia confirmed to Nana Akufo-Addo that he was willing to be his running mate. When Nana Akufo-Addo confirmed to the party hierarchy, a sort of controversy was ignited as the former General Secretary of the party, Kwadwo Owusu-Afriyie, explains.
Some people were arguing, oh, he's not a party person, he does not even have a party card. Unknown to them that he had at all times material had a party card. And so, you know, and these you know, people, some people, the Obadaben people, you know, felt that this is a person, you know, who is not, you know, as it were, the true blue, person, or as far as the Dankwa Dumbusia tradition is concerned. But just as Kufuor found something in him, Nana Akufo-Addo also found something in him, and it was only a matter of time, and posterity had judged Akufo-Addo right, and had judged everybody. No, he did not at all. In fact, in 2008, he worked his socks out so tirelessly that we believe that Akufo-Addo had the 49.77% even in the runoff, and everybody thought that he did so well, especially in the Three Novi regions and the Zongo areas.
Dr. Bawumia was chosen over two gurus in the party, former Northern Regional Minister Alhaji Boniface Abubakar Sadiq and former Women's and Children Affairs Minister Hajia Alima Mahama for the vice presidential slot.
Let me admit that even though my name came up, I was not kidding myself to say that I'm going to be the running mate. I was not.
Why?
I was not kidding myself. It could happen, it could not happen. It's like going for elections. I always told my constituents at the elections that when you go for election, you win or you lose. You can win, you can lose. And when I lose, I take it in good faith. When I win, hooray, hallelujah. When I lose, I take it in good faith. So, in talking about vice presidential candidate, it wasn't like my head was tailored towards that. No, it wasn't like that. And in any case, Bawumia is my brother, so I was excited that Bawumia had been chosen as the vice president, as a running mate then.
Unfortunately, Dr. Bawumia and his boss, Nana Akufo-Addo, did not succeed in their first two attempts to lead the country.
Of course, any loss is painful. Even if you are playing dummy and you lose, it's painful. But you play. This really, this was a painful loss. We thought we were doing quite well. Of course, we felt something wasn't quite right with the election result, and this was what took us to court. In 2013, we had filed a case at the Supreme Court challenging the election results, and that Supreme Court election petition again was another phase in my life and the life of the New Patriotic Party.
Dr. Bawumia, I would respectfully suggest that when you're talking legally, you need to be a little bit cautious because you are not the expert on what is legally correct. You see what I mean? So, but your answer is that those polling stations were not legally in existence. Is that your answer?
My answer is that, my lords, the polling stations are identified on every collation sheet only by the polling station code. There's no name. If you look at the collation form, there's no name of the polling station. The only identification label is the polling station code. So if you get a pink sheet with a polling station code that's not match what is on the EC register, then it is not known. And this is why we said those polling stations are unknown, my lords.
In the courtroom, everybody, were amazed. He dazzled everybody, including judges, their lordships who sat on the case. They realized that this is a young man full of wit, a young man full of, his intellect was so brilliant. I've never seen anybody with some sharp brain, as Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
We had hoped that we would win in 2008, and we were incredibly close to winning. We were leading in the first round, but it didn't happen. So first of all, as a person of faith, also you believe in God, you know that God's time is the best. So, I mean, you ask God for something, your intentions are genuine, you work hard for it, you don't get it, and then you persevere. So, yes, it was painful that we didn't win.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't cry. Indeed, I had to console the people around me.
The second time when he lost, I went to the house, and in fact, he told me that the last one would be, a a knockout, so I shouldn't worry. He said 2016 will be a knockout. So sister, don't worry. I've tried twice and I know the third time I'll make it. This was what he told me.
I said, continue. Try, you're a man. A man 3 times is okay. When you go 3 times and it doesn't work, then you can go. Leave it. I encourage him. I say, so far as Nana says you should still partner him, get ahead.
So Dr. Bawumia continued.
Let's welcome, inshallah, the next president of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa.
After 2012, I think I made the decision that unlike the previous election where I had left Ghana to go and do other work outside the country, that I would stay in Ghana, and because Nana Akufo-Addo was clear that he would I mean, once he made the decision that he was going to go, I think it was clear at that point that there was very little choice in the matter. We had to go together again, and I was ready to support him fully, that once he made. But I made the decision earlier on that this political season, it's not a 1-year campaign. You really have to be around and see and understand the terrain, as it evolves and so on, so through the years. So I stayed in Ghana.
Dr. Bawumia's stay in the country was a blessing for the NPP.
And I'm grateful to God that God gave him to us to partner in Akufo-Addo. And now everybody is seeing his worth. And I can tell you, those who did not believe in him, it's like the stone that was rejected by the builders. It has now become the head of the cornerstone. So, God will continue to bless the womb that begat this young man.
This is a young man who has joined his destiny to mine and who has proved to be a most invaluable helpmate to me. And there's nothing that I'm doing in my political career today that I do not share my thoughts and feelings with him. Got to where I have, and I have no doubt that he's an important part of the reason for the success that we obtained yesterday. And that is my running mate, Mahamudu Bawumia.
Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is now Vice President of the Republic of Ghana after a hard-fought cliffhanger election. It was real neck and neck until the final outcome was announced.
By the power vested in me as the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the returning officer for the presidential election, it is my duty and my privilege to declare Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo as the President-elect of the Republic of Ghana.
But events leading to this final declaration was not easy for people close to him.
We were happy. When it comes high, we clapped. When it goes low, the numbers were coming, we were happy. We were very, very happy. But getting to the end, the EC should announce the thing. I said, no, this thing, I experienced it once during the Supreme Court. They sat there for a long time. Then when they came out, the results were bad. So I got scared. I said, these people, what are they up to again? Oh, wow. My voice got, I lost my voice. We were shouting, jumping, everybody was excited. We were happy about it.
When the results were coming in, I was very confident. And particularly when McMenu came out to give that, explosion. I said, my goodness, this guy knows more than I know. If he says the deal is over, I think it is over. It is because it looks over. So my confidence started building from that time until, Charlotte Osei came to confirm it.
Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is now His Excellency Mr. Vice President, and that comes with a sudden change in everything.
It's a bit of a shock, and I'll tell you something. At first time I came out of my house, and then there was a motor rider, dispatch rider, with the siren going. I was shocked. I'm like, what is this going on? What is going on? They said, oh, it's the siren. I'm like, but we're only going from here to here. Stop the guy. So we stopped the guy. I said, please put off the siren. So the guy had to put off the siren and was looking at me very funny. But yeah, because I didn't think it was necessary or whatever, and it would take some getting used to if I would ever get used to that, but it's a big difference, I must say. First, you are, essentially private non-entity sort of, and now you are very much in the public limelight, and they have to protect you, so it's army, police, whatever.
I remember the day after the declaration, I think I went out. Actually, I was home because people kept coming in. So 2 days later, I went out and I saw a lot of police outside my house. And I was like, what just happened? But yeah, I think he will get used to it.
His former boss, Emmanuel Mante Asiedu, believes the economy will turn around with this economist in charge.
We're blessed to have him as a vice president, because with him managing the economy, this economy should turn around. I expect to see that in the 2-3 years, And people out there, people's expectations are very high because of the promises made. But it takes time to turn an economy around. And my belief and my hope is that within the next 2-3 years, we should see something positive happening.
I believe in the team, the Nana Bawumia team. I know they mean well. I know they want to help this country. I know they have ideas that's going to truly transform this nation. So for me, that is what inspired my work. That's what inspired my not sitting at home, because I was passionate to see that this man, Nana Akufo-Addo, who loves this country dearly, who has dedicated himself to this country, becomes president, and we benefit from the ideas and the solutions he has.
His friends and family want him to succeed.
I'll tell him to remain focused and also to continue with his humility. Let everybody see it. It shouldn't be that now you are in power, so you are a bit arrogant, or you say something and they'll say, oh, because he's in power, he's now showing arrogance. So I think that's the advice I'll give to him.
Let's give him the space to do his professional work. Let's allow him to take his decisions based on his expertise and not based on partisan considerations, which might derail their government. We should allow them the free space to take their decisions based on their best judgments.
MPP alone can do the work. Now that the things have cooled down, MPP, CPP, they all have to come together to make Ghana what it used to be. No one can change Ghana unless all Ghanaians come together to change it.
The NPP has a 4-year mandate to turn Ghana around. A second term will largely depend on the party's performance in the first term. So for Dr. Bawumia, it's important to work hard once his party has the mandate of the people to deliver.
It's important. I think if you don't keep your feet on the ground and realize that you are only there to provide a service for your country, and then when your time is up, other people will come in and continue what you're doing, and you will step aside. So the way you relate to people, you need to be very conscious of the fact that you're only in government for a temporary period, and when you come back, they will still be there. If you don't relate to them well, they'll remember at that point that, oh yeah, when you were in government, you didn't treat me well, you thought you were this, that. No, that's for me, not me. I want to, by the grace of God, keep my feet on the ground and basically do the work that I have been brought to do, assist Nana Akufo-Addo to be the best president that he can be, help this country.
And his father, the late Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, is not the only person Dr. Bawumia wishes were alive to witness his new calling, politics.
Today, he would probably be laughing at me because I had told him categorically before he died that I wasn't interested in politics and I wouldn't go into politics. But today it is different. He's one of the people I wish was here today. Another person I wish was here today is Alhaji Mahamudu, former vice president, who took me under his wing, and we campaigned together in 2008 and a lot in 2012. May his soul rest in peace. He really wanted to see me. He said he was going to guide me and make sure I got to where I was. And unfortunately, he passed on during the 2012 campaign. Then the third person is my assistant, Kwabena Boadu. Now, Kwabena Boadu is just an amazing, amazing, amazing person. I came to rely so much on him. He was young but brilliant. And I wish he was here to see the fruit of all his labor.
Ghanaians have high expectations of his government.
When you look at it, it's a daunting challenge, but it's not one that I'm afraid of. It's one that I'm looking forward to addressing, to actually taking head on, because I believe that Nana Akufo-Addo, as our leader, he will give us the direction and we are going to follow it and get it done for this country.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.